Hi, my name is Robert Wolfert, and today in this video I want to talk about cat. Cat is a little command line tool you will use typically for printing out tiny text-based files to the terminal to have a quick look into these files. But cat can do a little bit more for you. So let's have a look at the cat command. But wait, there is a catch. As always, there is a catch. At the end of this video, I will make you an offer. So only if you are cool with this, me making you an offer at the end of this video, let's go ahead, stay with me, and let's talk about cat. Cat is a tool for simple data handling. So if you call cat at the command line, just call cat at a command line without any additional parameter. Let's start with calling cat without any additional parameter. Then cat just reads in the data it gets from its input data stream. We'll see this in a few seconds. And then cat will print out this data to its output data stream. And the input data stream of cat is by default bound to the keyboard. This should be a drawing of a keyboard. The input data stream is by default bound to the keyboard, and the output data stream is by default bound to the terminal. This should be shall be the drawing of a terminal. So let's go into a terminal and let's try this out. Let's call cat without any additional parameter, and you see I don't have any at the prompt anymore. But now cat reads in the data I type in with my keyboard, and then cat, if I hit enter, cat prints out the line I have typed in. So you see cat works line oriented. Every time I hit enter, cat prints out the red line. And I can repeat this until I'm tired of typing in multiple lines. I can simply terminate the cat command here by hitting Control C. If I hit Control C, I simply terminate the cat command. So typically you don't wanna print out the lines you have typed in via the keyboard. Instead, you want to print out the data that comes from a command. If you have a command, you can print out the data coming from the command, or you can print out the content of a file. And this is the way you usually will use the cat command. Call cat and give as a parameter the name of a file. Then cat opens the file and prints out the content of the file to the terminal. Let's try this out. I have a small file here, the file called list.txt, just 75 bytes in size. So let's have a look into this file by just calling cat list.txt, and you see the content of the file is printed out to the terminal. So this is the way you will typically use cat at the command line, perhaps on a daily basis. Okay. Cat can do a little bit more if you add a little bit or some command line options. For instance, you can number the lines during the output by just appending the -n command line switch. If you append the -n command line switch, then you can number the lines while printing them out. So let's try this out. Simply call cat first without a file name. Then you see cat again reads in the line from my keyboard. I hit enter, then cat prints out the first line is this line. The second line is this one. The third line is an empty one, and so on. So cat now numbers any or every single line here, and prints out the number, and after that the line. Terminate cat by hitting Ctrl C. And now let's do this with the content of a file. Let's do this with the content of a file, cat-n list.txt, and you see these are the lines from list.txt numbered. Yeah. And now we can, if we want to, do it with the output of a command. Let's call the command ls-l, for instance. And now I want to number these lines. I want to number these lines. Simply pipe the output of ls-l, feed the output of ls-l via this vertical bar to the cat command, and then tell to the cat command, please number the lines during the output. And you see all these lines are now numbered. Yeah. So this is the first really useful parameter here for cat. And a second useful parameter for cat, or a second bundle of command line parameters is or are the command line parameters for marking special characters. For marking special characters. For instance, you can mark tabs during the output. You can mark line endings during the output. You can mark other special non-printable characters during the output with a dash lowercase v. Yeah? Dash uppercase T for tabs, dash uppercase E for line endings, dash lowercase v for other special characters, non-printable special characters, and you can combine these three switches with a dash uppercase A command line switch. Yeah, so let's have a look. Let's try this out. Let's take a file test123, and within this file test123 there are some hidden characters. And let's try this out. First, let's try to see the tabs. Yeah, we have two lines indented here, and I don't know if they are indented just by spaces or via tabs. Yeah, so ask the cat command for marking tabs, and you see the first line was indented or is indented with a tab. The second line not, instead via spaces. Yeah, the second parameter here, let's mark the line endings. Let's mark the line endings, and you see the line endings are marked like this with a $sign. And what you see is that at the end of the first line, hello world, there is an additional space appended to the end of the line. Yeah, by just printing out the file, you won't see the space appended to this line. Yeah, but if you switch on the line end markers, then you will see this added space. And you see here the last line is really an empty line, no spaces, no tabs within the last line. Yeah. Then we have the lowercase v. The lowercase v for marking all non-printable characters, but not the tab and not the line endings. So there aren't any additional non-printable characters within this file. If this is or would be a file coming from a Windows system, then you could see special characters at the end of the lines, just because the Windows line breaks are laid out differently than the Linux line breaks. On a Linux system, you have only the line feed as one single special character. Yeah. On Windows-based system, you will have a second character, the !return character. Yeah, and there you would see, if you call -v, for instance, then you would see a special character at the end of the line. You would recognize this in a second, that you have different line breaks here. Yeah. Okay, and you can combine these three command line switches via dash uppercase A. Dash uppercase A marks everything that can be marked, tabs, line endings, and other non-printable characters. Yeah, cat dash uppercase A. Can be really useful if you don't know the real content of a file. Yeah, if you print out the content to a file, you see the interpreted content. You see indented lines just because there is a tab. Yeah, but you don't see the real content of the file. And then cat-a can be very useful for this. And you can use this for the output of commands too. If you have a command line, for instance, let's stick with ls-l as a command line, and you will see the output of a command. Yeah, then perhaps you want to process this output later on with a second, a third tool, and so on. And then you need to know if there are special characters, if there are tabs used for building the columns, for instance, if there are some other special characters, if there are spaces at the end of the line before the line break, and so on. Then just feed the output of this command to the cat command. Yeah, cat-a, please mark all the special characters. And now you see there aren't any special characters. You only have the line endings. Every line has a line ending at the end of the line, and you don't have any tabs within these lines. You don't have any other control sequences within this line. You don't have any spaces between the end of the line and the line break, and so on. Yeah, so this is a great way for analyzing the type of text-based output coming from a command. Yeah, simply piping this to cat or feeding this to cat and call cat with dash uppercase A. Okay, these are some really useful command line options for the cat command. And then the last use case for cat is call cat not only with one single file, but with multiple files at once. Simply give multiple file names at once to the cat command. Then cat will print out every file you give it at a command line, and it will print out these files without any additional data added. Just byte-wise, the first file, then the second one, then the third one, and so on. And typically you do this not because you want to see the content of all these files on the terminal, but because you want to concatenate these files into a single one. Then you call cat like this, multiple file names, and you redirect the output of the cat command to a new file. Then this new file will contain all the data from the files you give as parameters, concatenated into one single file. This can be very useful if you have, for instance, a file that was splitted into multiple parts. There is a tool called split that lets you split a single file into multiple parts for easier handling, for instance. Let's have a look at an example. Let's have a look at this file demolog. This file demolog has a size of 1.2 megabytes. And let's imagine I want to send this file via email. And I cannot send files via email larger than 500 kilobytes. So I need to split the content of demolog into single files, into single parts, not larger than 500 kilobytes. And I can do this with the split command. Split-b for the bytes. I want to split a file into parts not larger than 500 kilobytes, and I want to split the file demolog. Now, if I have a look into the output of ls-lh again, I see 3 new files here called XAA, XAB, XAC. These are the parts of the file. Yeah, the first part of Demolog. Yeah, first part XAA, second part, and the last 209 kilobytes, the third part. Typically, you don't wanna have these file names. You wanna choose a file name on your own. Then you give a second file name parameter to the split command, and this then is the prefix of the part file names. Yeah, so if you call it this way, then you will have files with these names, starting with demolog underline and then AA for the first, AB for the second, and AC for the third part, and so on. Yeah. And now you can email, or we can email these files to a destination, and at the destination you want to concatenate these parts together to get our file back. So we can do this with cat demolog AA, demolog AB, demolog AC. And now let's redirect the output of the cat command into new file. Yeah? Cat will print out byte-wise the first, the second, the third, all the files one after the other, yeah, without adding any additional characters. So you can concatenate all the files together again into one single file, all these parts. Yeah, and you can even more simplify this if you use a pattern. Simply use a pattern for these parts. Simply use demolog underline asterisk, for instance. Yeah. If the shell sees such a pattern at the command line, then the shell will substitute this pattern with all, or with a list of all file names matched by this pattern, and all these file names will be sorted by the name. So you will see first demolog underline AA, or cat will see first demolog underline AA, then demolog underline AB, and then demolog underline AC. Yeah. So now I have a new file exactly the same size and exactly the same content as the original file demolog here. Yeah. Let's prove this. We see we have the same size. Yeah, but is the order, have we concatenated the parts in the correct order? Let's prove this by simply creating a checksum. Simply creating a checksum, you can use MD5 sum for creating an MD5 checksum for a file. Let's do it with demolog, and let's do it with new file. You see the checksums and they are equal. Yeah, so new file has exactly the same content as demolog. Yeah, so this is the way you use cat typically, or these are the ways you use cat typically. You use cat with a single file for printing out just one single file. You use cat for marking special characters. Sometimes you want to number the lines during the output, and you can do, or you can use these command line options, these behaviors together if you need to with the output of a command. Yeah, if you don't want to read in the content of a file, but you want to process the output of a command, then you can use cat with the output just by feeding the output of a command to the cat command via this vertical bar. Yeah, and if you want to concatenate multiple files, you can use cat for this too. Yeah, and if you want to create such parts from a single file, if you want to split a single file into multiple parts, then split is the command to go. Yeah. Okay, so this was the cat command, what you can do with the cat command. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And at the start of this video, I mentioned an offer. And to be honest, I have two offers for you. The second one is a free one. Yeah? The first one is the Shell Toolbox. If you are interested in more such tools like these that we talked about today, yeah, then have a look at the Shell Toolbox. The Shell Toolbox is a book I've written originally by request for my clients to give them an overview over all the tools they need for their daily work. Yeah, and every tool there comes with example calls. Every tool there comes with a short explanation, yeah, to illustrate the usage, what this tool can be used for, and so on. Today you can have access to this book too. Yeah. If you are interested, go to shelltoolbox.com and order your copy. And the second offer I have here is a free offer, and the free offer is the Linux Beginners Framework. If you are just starting out with Linux, yeah, then it often feels really or a little bit uncomfortable working at the Linux command line. And for this, I have created a free ebook, the Linux Beginners Framework, your 5 steps to feel comfortable at a Linux command line. If you're interested, go to robertw.io/lbf and get the Linux Beginners Framework. Yeah? So these are the two offers. I hope you enjoyed this video lesson and you learned something new. My name is Robert Wohlfahrt, and hopefully see you next time.